For those of us who lived through the TV dark ages, you might remember waking up overly early some days and nothing you really wanted to watch would be on, but you'd settle. And that was my relationship with the weird show Rocket RobinHood. Being on at odd early hours was also very true of the 1967 Spider-Man cartoon, which wasn't really a stellar display of animation or anything, but you'd usually take it because, it's Spider-Man. If you haven't ever watched the 1967 Spider-Man, you're probably at least familiar with its theme song.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can.
Or you are likely familiar with one of the memes made from the show. Actually, the one with the two Spider-Mans was from an episode I remember being somewhat excited to see back in the day. There was some intrigue there. It's like, ooh, who's the second Spider-Man gonna be? And what's his relation to Peter Parker?
And here's the imposter who's been stealing the art treasures. Charles Cameo.
Yes! Who could ever forget the great reveal of Charles Cameo? Except for absolutely everyone who ever saw the episode. Spider-Man's first season was animated by the LA-based Grant Ray Lawrence Animation, but the voice acting was done in Toronto. Same as Rocket RobinHood, actually, and Paul Klingman was in both shows as Friar Tuck and J. Jonah Jameson. The animation was very stiff, like a lot of TV cartoons from the time, but you did at least have Spider-Man battling a lot of his classic villains in episodes, like Dr. Octopus, Electro, and the Green Goblin. Well, don't get too used to that. Spider-Man doesn't need to be battling the foes you actually want to see. Grant Ray Lawrence Animation went bankrupt after Spider-Man's first season, so the distributor, Krantz Films, moved into the producer role as Krantz Animation Inc. for season 2 and 3. Steve Krantz, who ran the company, had Ralph Bakshi executive produce and direct the series from this point on. You might remember Ralph Bakshi from such productions as Fritz the Cat and the 1978 Lord of the Rings animated movie. The show ended up being gutted of most of its villains from the comics, so instead you had Spider-Man battling things like mole people, evil sorcerers, aliens, and stupid creatures like Blotto that seem designed to save animation costs as it eats animation cells. Now, to be fair to Bakshi, he was tasked with trying to save money as there wasn't a whole lot to spread around on the show at this point. And Ralph Bakshi is the connection in how we got a plot from Rocket RobinHood being used in Spider-Man. Rocket RobinHood was originally produced and animated in Toronto by Trillium Productions. And much like Spider-Man, it was super stiff, and the beginning of its intro seems like it wanted to put you back to sleep.
Come gather around me, space travelers surround me, the ballad of Rocket RobinHood.
Crap. This is on. The intro theme does pick up the energy partway through. I guess they thought this would trick you into thinking the show's exciting.
Band of brothers marching together, heads held high in all kinds of weather.
Yeah, that's great. When are the good cartoons on? You know, I always thought Robin Hood needed a chef character, but it is a space chef, so that's cool as shit. Rocket RobinHood takes place in the year 3000, with old Rocket Face being the descendant of the original Robin Hood. So, we really need to clean up our act if we don't want the future to look like that. So, if you ever want to see Robin Hood, but with space elements thrown in, you probably still don't want to see this, but that's what the show is. Robin Hood still battles Prince John and the Sheriff of NOT, which now stands for National Outer Space Terrestrial Territories.
There isn't another fat belly like yours in the whole National Outer Space Terrestrial Territories.
If you don't think Rocket RobinHood is dorky enough in the series proper, get ready to be blown away by how he appeared in the original Pitch pilot.
I have no use for these modern weapons.
Man, isn't that sweet? He's got his little Spock helmet on and everything. By the way, this pitch pilot ends on a cliffhanger promising a chapter 2, which of course never happens. Some of the characters were actually completely reworked, like the sheriff here, who changed his skin color and went from somewhat imposing to a more sniveling wiener boy. The thing I always remembered the most from this show, though, was those stupid character bio segments. Especially the Friar Tuck and his wasting food one. As a way to fill more time with shit that can be reused, Rocket Robin Hood would air little segments telling you about each character. Friar Tuck's was mostly about him being fat and how he could bounce enemies away with his belly. Stupid 60s. But this featured the great animation loop of him taking one bite out of pieces of food and then throwing it away. Guess we aren't too worried about egregious waste in the year 3000. Rocket RobinHood was also produced by Krantz Films, but production had kinda turned into a mess. The animation studio Trillium was owned by another one of the producers, Al Guest, who had started fighting with Steve Krantz due to non-payment, and Krantz wasn't paying him because of the quality being so poor that the stations weren't willing to buy the movies they were making. So, Ralph Bakshi was brought on to take over the animation direction during season 2. He at first just moved the layout and storyboard production to New York, with the actual animation still being done in Toronto. Steve Krantz and Al Guest, though, end up suing each other, and Krantz told Bakshi to grab model charts and other materials from the show and move the whole animation to New York. So he did! And then a warrant got put out for Ralph Bakshi's arrest for stealing the materials. He ended up being able to sneak around and evaded the Canadian police. Even though Krantz was paying for his plane tickets, Bakshi took a taxi to the border because he figured they'd be watching the airport. He made it back into the US after apparently darting past the Canadian officials and the US guards just laughing after he asked to be allowed back into his country because they are schmucks in Canada. And while Bakshi made it back, his background artist, John Vita, who he had sent to the airport, was caught and held for 2 days. And it was apparently quite a while before Ralph Bakshi could safely take a trip back to Canada. I had no idea this silly Rocket RobinHood show had such a ridiculous story attached to it. Anyway, after all that craziness, Season 3 of Rocket RobinHood was animated entirely in New York, including the episode Dementia 5. There's definitely a slight difference in the art style in Season 3, but Bakshi did manage to keep the animation quality about the same and save money, which is what was asked of him. Flipping back over to Spider-Man now, as part of Ralph Bakshi's cost-saving measures on that show, he started reusing assets from Rocket RobinHood, including backgrounds and villains.
You needn't have wasted your ammunition.
But the most egregious and pretty ridiculous to look back at was the episode Revolt in the Fifth Dimension. That kinda sounds similar to Dementia 5, right? Well, that's just because it is. It's pretty much the exact same episode. You just swap out Rocket RobinHood for Spider-Man, and that is Revolt in the Fifth Dimension. Seriously, a bunch of the shots are the exact same, just with Spider-Man replacing Robin Hood and Little John. The plot of this episode is pretty ridiculous too, so it always stood out to me and some of my friends who had seen both episodes and was something we'd joke about. It really is kind of amazing the laziness on display here, but again, they were working with a very small budget and Ralph Bakshi was trying to find ways to save money. Revolt in the Fifth Dimension definitely sounds better than Dementia 5. I kinda wonder if they actually knew what dementia meant when they titled the Rocket RobinHood episode. I don't know if they just thought, oh, dementia, that sort of sounds like dimension, or if it's because the world of Dementia 5 does sort of have to do with thought somewhat. Either way, it's a pretty stupid name. Now, before we even get to the reused Rocket RobinHood plot, check out the buildings just crappily fading back to earlier to give Spider-Man more swinging time because they didn't create enough background. Seamless. Man, I remember even as a kid watching this show and laughing about Spider-Man's nonsense webbing onto the sky. My friends and I used to joke about how there must be like a plane right above Spider-Man, or somehow he webs onto clouds as he's webbing around onto nothing, apparently.
Boy, sure is a beautiful night. Gives a guy a chance to relax and look at the stars. Yeah, it's peaceful up there.
So, while the Spider-Man episode at least starts you off with Spider-Man, Rocket RobinHood doesn't bother to show up until 5.5 minutes into his version, as Dementia 5 just starts with a galaxy exploding.
The galaxy of Kamozar. It suddenly begins to explode and tear itself apart violently.
That sure is an awful lot of death to immediately start the episode off with. Well, I'm sure at least Rocket RobinHood will save some people from that galaxy. He does not. It's possibly because of this and how bizarrely psychedelic this episode gets that ABC didn't air Revolt in the Fifth Dimension along with the rest of Season 3.
You dare to probe the secrets of Dementia 5, then be destroyed.
Yeah, it's just some red skeleton Cyclops thing blowing up planets on behalf of Dementia 5. Happens all the time. This is out of nowhere in both episodes, but at least this weird space stuff like this fits in more with Rocket RobinHood than Spider-Man. I mean, this is before he was more regularly dealing with stuff like Venom and not feeling so good. And even though they renamed it the Fifth Dimension in the Spider-Man episode title, it's still actually called Dementia 5 in the episode because they're straight up reusing dialogue from the Rocket RobinHood episode here. The only thing actually changed is the background music.
Oh, Atham, it all ends like this because we discovered the secrets of Dementia 5. Oh, Atham, it all ends like this because we discovered the secrets of Dementia 5.
Infinata would destroy everything.
What we have discovered, all our endless work, it must not be lost.
Infinata would destroy everything.
What we have discovered, all our endless work, it must not be lost.
So, apparently Space Red Skull is blowing up the entire galaxy because these alien holes stumbled onto some info about his weird dimension, Dementia 5. So you'd think he'd blow up their planet first, but no.
A library of gore. The books are being fed into the giant mega computer.
You are destroying the library?
This guy has never heard of digitizing anything? It's the year 3000, man! Or it's the 60s. Guess it depends on the episode.
And their information captured on magnetic tape.
Wow! The future! Guess this part makes more sense to be in the 60s. Either that or these dimension info gathering aliens are just really behind in certain aspects of their tech. We are super advanced aliens. You will never understand our magnetic tape.
Which is then discharged into a tiny information storage module.
So what did this other alien think the room with the giant digitizing machine was for before having this explained to him?
I must escape with this to another galaxy.
Remember, these guys can take a quick jaunt out of their galaxy and they're using magnetic tape. The Spider-Man version, I guess, tries to soften this up a bit here by cutting one of the aliens' lines, reminding us that their planet is about to explode.
Quickly then, for soon this planet shall be cosmic dust.
You are correct. I have no time to lose.
Quickly then.
You are correct. Farewell, old friend.
You know, there's plenty of room for both of us in there. Yes, but I like to put my feet up on the other seat. Your sacrifice is not in vain, old friend. I hate that guy. Even though they cut the one line about the planet's explosion, they still show you the place being destroyed, because that's okay. However, they make it red-tinted in the Spider-Man episode for some reason.
Farewell to everything.
No need to get all mushy. Cybertron's a better place anyway.
We get way more establishing shots of Dementia 5 in the Spider-Man version before the next scene happens. Guess they had more time to waste. Much like I am right now in my episode.
The galaxy of Kamasa is destroyed.
He destroyed an entire galaxy pretty quick. What's gonna stop him from destroying the Milky Way just as fast? He just doesn't. Oh, I'm glad even red Cyclops skeletons have friends in the form of weird frog demon things.
And our secrets remain our own.
Dementia 5 isn't that great, man. In fact, it's kind of a psychedelic nightmare. Maybe Infinata here is just embarrassed of his crap hole of a world. Anyway, our best bud Infinata finds out that Athom here flew the coop. Out of that entire galaxy, he was the only one who thought I should hop in a ship and take off. I don't know how this was missed, too. Maybe Infinata isn't quite as good as he thinks he is. Guess he's too busy trying to show off his lyrical abstraction artwork to his frog pals.
I must not let their super will overpower me. This cosmomagnetizer will make the entire ship magnetic and turn my ship into a meteor which cannot be affected by their vile thought waves.
Well, I guess that just destroyed my train of thought, so maybe he's right. His plan is so dumb, I cannot even think. Damn it, Athom got me again.
Make yourself invisible. We must not be discovered.
Why? I don't know. Maybe Infinata is just really tired from blowing up that other galaxy and doesn't have it in him to do it again right now.
Robin, look!
A meteor heading right toward us.
Robin, we're done for. It'll blast us out of the skies.
Hey, look, a shooting star. Sure looks beautiful.
Well, I guess that's two very different outlooks on that. We're gonna die versus, ooh, pretty.
But it'll probably burn out before I get there.
You're burnt out, Spider-Man. Spider-Man then shows off that don't change the background for the next shot technique, while Rocket RobinHood makes itself feel even older by having a mid-story recap with a new title card for Act 2. And then they show off that same not changing the background laziness. At least Will Scarlet somehow moved that valve to the other side of the room, though. It is Will Scarlet and Friar Tuck who keep the meteor from smashing into them in Rocket RobinHood, where Athom just fixes his flight path himself in Spider-Man. We learn that Athom and his ship are really tiny in both episodes, so I don't know how him crashing was all that much of a threat. Also, you can see that they just redrew over Robin Hood's hand in this shot to make it Spider-Man's. In fact, they reuse as much as they can pose-wise for a lot of these shots. So you'll see Spider-Man mimics a lot of what Robin Hood originally did.
Just a little squirt.
Just a little squirt.
You didn't have to have them copy the dialogue exactly, and Little John's kind of dumber dialogue sounds a little weird coming out of Spider-Man.
Never saw anything like that in this galaxy.
Never saw anything like this on Earth before.
I don't understand his language, but he's projecting a message at me.
I don't understand his language, but he's projecting a message at me.
Since Athom doesn't actually directly talk to Rocket RobinHood or say his name or anything like that, it made it nice and easy to dump him into Spider-Man like this.
So this contains all the knowledge Athom died to protect.
So this contains all the knowledge Athom died to protect.
Why exactly did he die now? Not explained.
But what is this Dementia 5, Robin?
He tried to explain, but it was difficult to put into words.
But what is this Dementia 5? He tried to explain, but it was difficult to put into words.
It's some kind of dimension that is easily transplantable into any cartoon series.
It's the creation of Infinata. Athom discovered his secrets, and so his galaxy was destroyed.
It's the creation of Infinata. Athom discovered his secrets, so his galaxy was destroyed.
So he brought it to our galaxy. Real nice of him.
And so this must be decoded and analyzed so that the universe can be rid of this terrible force.
So this must be decoded and analyzed so that the universe can be rid of this terrible force.
So you'd think the info Athom brought would be critical to them defeating Infinata in both episodes, right? Well, nope. Neither Spider-Man or Robin Hood use any of the info on there, so it's all pretty pointless. Both of them pop the data gobstopper into their toy rings that both heroes always have.
Little John, we've never had a more important mission.
Which is why I've lost my ring immediately.
Are you computerizing our exact position at all times, Little John?
Yeah?
As soon as I find out what the hell computerizing means.
Prepare yourselves for a voyage into Dementia 5.
The Spider-Man episode then gives Infinita some new dialogue, which is kinda obvious as his voice changes.
Who is this flying boy? I will destroy him.
Little John, we're going beyond the speed of light. Impossible, but it's happening.
I'm going through some sort of force field. Impossible, but it's happening.
So, I hope you like nonsense psychedelic imagery, because boy oh boy do these episodes have you covered! We also get to see Robin Hood, Little John, and Spider-Man in a high-contrast shadow shot that Ralph Bakshi loves doing.
Silence. You have not crossed the threshold yet. Observe.
Oh, of course, Dementia 5 is really Subcon from Super Mario Bros. 2. Actually, since Dementia 5 is kind of a weird world of thought, and Subcon is a world of dreams, there is an odd connection there. I guess any kind of mind dimension needs a staircase.
Climb the stairway of mystery, then cross the threshold of reality, and enter into the realm of Dementia 5.
Yeah, but what if we just don't? Well, this shot was really easy for them to Spider-Man eyes. All they had to do was erase Little John.
I can't stop myself. What's there? What's on the other side?
Closer. Come closer.
I can't stop myself. What's there? What's on the other side? Can't stop myself.
Can't stop ourselves. Has Robin departed this universe for good?
I sure hope so.
When Athom dies, Robin's mission is to take the tiny library of Gorth.
Rocket Old Hood shows his age again with a third act title card, while Spider-Man repeats the footage of being pulled into Dementia 5 after the commercial break. But they forgot to have him actually be pulled in when they show it again, so he just stands there this time.
Hold on to your hat, Spidey. Things are getting pretty wild.
Both get some weird imagery and shots of Infinita as they enter Dementia 5, but Rocket RobinHood gets one particularly important shot that isn't in the Spider-Man version. A dimensional space cat? A dimensional space cat? What the hell was that? I wonder what other people thought of that. Just one sec. I'm gonna check in with one of my friends.
Fucking space cats! Fucking space cats! Damn it!
Seems like a bit of an overreaction, but alright.
You are now in Dementia 5, the 5th dimension.
Oh, right. I should have known that cats are the 5th dimension.
Give me the library of Gorth.
You'll have to fight for it.
You'll have to fight for it.
Spider-Man's was better because he doesn't have that doofy close-up like Rocket Moron Hood.
Very well.
But I'm not going to move from this awkward pose. Infinita calls upon the dimensional space snakes to help him get the 25-cent ring from the heroes, only to find it empty.
Empty. Fetch Robin and the other one.
I don't know if it amuses me more that Infinita learned Robin Hood's name, or that he just calls Little John Other One. Damn it! I hate Other One! In Spider-Man, they didn't even bother getting Infinita's second voice to tell his frogs to get Spider-Man, so it's just him silently pointing. Infinita then brings the heroes to Final Destination with no items as he rides Master Hand.
You will tell me where you've secreted the library of Gorth.
It was lost when our ship exploded.
It was lost when you pulled me into this world of yours, buddy.
You lie!
He then kills them all as he turns them into skeletons. The end. And thus starts the Clone Saga, or something in Spider-Man. And just the cancellation of Rocket RobinHood. Who can't recover from being a skeleton? I mean, Wolverine does it all the time. Actually, this is just a harmless X-ray Infinata was doing on them to try and find the data marble. Spider-Hood leaps at Infinata, but he can teleport! Wow, who knew that the being that can blow up planets had such power?
Like quicksand going under.
How do you fight this creature? Got to think. Think!
Like quicksand. How do you fight this creature? Got to think. Think!
Wait a minute! When I closed my eyes just then, suddenly we were floating out in space!
So, you really died in the vacuum of space then? Guess this whole thing has just been a Jacob's Ladder-esque dream as he died. They aren't wearing any gear, so I don't know how the Space Merry Men are supposed to still be alive.
Wait a minute. I closed my eyes just then. Suddenly, I was back in New York.
See, Spider-Man has just been falling to his death this entire time. Very slowly, somehow.
That's your secret. Dementia 5 is all illusion.
Spider-Man escapes the oil puddle. Well, it really looks like Robin Hood and Little John have been beheaded in the other episode.
I'm back!
I'm so lonely!
Think of anything! What Dementia 5?
That won't be hard.
I rarely think of anything.
Wow. That was one trip I never want to go on again.
But maybe some other cartoon will want to.
Your oxygen was almost exhausted.
What was giving you oxygen? I don't know.
Glad you're alive, Robin.
You're the only one, dude. So, Robin hid the library marble inside an arrow he left in space before they went to Dementia 5, while Spider-Man hid the library inside his web shooter. That one kinda makes a lot less sense as Infinata scanned their entire bodies for the library, so it should have been found. Oh well. Wow, I'd better go up those stairs right away. But off screen. I'm being pulled in! Ah! I'm being pulled in! Again! Or maybe not. Oh no! I guess I am in. Ah! Space Cat! Welcome to Dementia 5, you knob. Oh, come on. There really is no reason to do this. I don't even have the Library of Gorth. Are you sure? Let me turn you into a skeleton. Hello, Infinata. I'm Halloween. Ugh, what the hell was that? A show that I wish got more views. Really now? You're going to whine about view counts while in Dementia 5? Shut up, Infinata. Get him, Space Cat. I want Infinata Feast. Who let Space Cat in here? No!
I don't like this movie, doesn't look too friendly. This bootleg is so fake, that toy is gonna break. Famous, don't let me down, you need to be around. Grab that chocolate pizza, I even like it cause I want. Famous, so famous, bring on mortal comedy. Famous, so famous, an animation movie. Famous, so famous, what really is so fun. Famous, so famous, what's your opinion about?
Oh, come on. How many times do I have to do the Mario 2 ending?